There's been almost a line out the door almost every day since it started. Okay, going live.
There's no one out there now.
Hello, welcome back to theonering.net. It is Torn Tuesday. I'm Chelsea Schwartz, and with me is Clifford Broadway.
Hello. Oh, my goodness. Hello, this is Clifford. Hi, Chelsea.
I love when you get on the microphone with this big booming voice. It's amazing.
And,
Just the best voice. I could listen to it all day.
You're so sweet. In most auditoriums, I don't need a microphone.
It's true.
Know?
You can project with the best of them, that theatrical training.
Wow. Okay.
Hi, everybody in the interwebs saying hello in the chat rooms. Please do join us and say hello.
Welcome to
lots of
theonering.net.
Fun things to talk about today.
More than fun things to talk about. Like, we have like something huge and important to talk about that makes me wonder. We need to be smart here about this. We need to talk about the difference between clickbait and reality. What do you think? All right, welcome everybody. Let's just say welcome to everybody. This is theonering.net. I'm getting out of my winter clothing because winter has come.
Where are we at? We're at Scum and Villainy Cantina that has been reskinned into Scum and Villainy Fire and Ice, and it's a Game of Thrones fan event happening all month long. So that's why you're seeing weird lighting and a weirwood tree behind me.
And I'm
House Stark. Yeah.
I'm dressed for winter because it might be late spring in LA, but it's gotten quite wintry.
Yes.
We're back to winter weather. Did you notice?
I love that, though. I hope that stays throughout the entire summer.
There is
winter is here.
Yeah, there is a map of Westeros
stay.
over there. The remarkable thing about this location, Scum and Villainy, is it's like a nexus for all cool franchises and geeky things and all the fans who want to celebrate, their favorite fandom. Then this is the place for you. Right now, of course, we're up to our gilly. We're up to our gillies in just Stark, Targaryen, Baratheon, Lannister.
Tully.
Yeah.
Tarly.
Tarly.
Greyjoy.
Greyjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Here we are. This is supposed to be like, Chelsea and Clifford talking all about Lord of the Rings and Tolkien stuff, but we're going to continue with the amazing digression. Look at this weirwood tree.
Mm-hmm.
He's not happy. He's crying blood. And you know what? You know what they put down in the basement? In the basement, the other part of this weirwood tree is all the roots that they put down there.
Yeah.
Did you see them down there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I tripped on them on the way in.
And we've got famous Swedish actor Max von Sydow, and we've got him held prisoner down in the basement of Scum and Villainy, where he's holding onto the roots, teaching Bran how to warg with the children of the forest. Right? Right. That's what we're doing. Are you guys enjoying this?
Of course they are.
Are you guys enjoying this?
People are commenting about
everybody.
Game of Thrones in the chat room. Of course they're enjoying it.
Are you guys enjoying this? I know you're here for Hobbits and
Here's
Lord,
the thing,
Lord
though,
of the
is
Rings,
that we
but
weouldn't
we're
have
also
George
here.
R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones if we didn't have Tolkien in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
So it's all related.
Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. So this is an amazing place, and in the future, when there are other big cultural phenomenons like Game of Thrones happening, I'm sure they'll do other cool decor, but they've refurbished this place in the most unbelievable way. It's so elegant, it's so cool, and welcome.
And the drink
Welcome.
menu is quite extensive, and there's even non-alcoholic options.
Yummy. Yummy. Hey, you had a really, really well-attended game night.
Yes, I did.
Did you not last night?
Not just last night, but the week before for our Game of Thrones night. We were
Yes.
packed in here. It was amazing, and we hosted this metagame, and we broke everybody into the 6 surviving houses of Game of Thrones, and they had to survive against a White Walker attack, and I was basically DMing a live game that was happening throughout the event, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's super fun. Congrats. That's
Thank you.
super fun. I've been working a lot of other late night gigs. I'm glad to be available. I'm glad to be here, guys. We have a miniature show. Usually, you guys are with us for 90 minutes. However, Chelsea and I have to keep it down to 60 minutes. It will be a shorter version of the show. So, Game of Thrones has been successful in filming in Northern Ireland,
Yes.
in Iceland,
Yes.
a few other interesting places around
Exotic
Europe.
remote locations.
Exotic remote locations. Spain? Have they filmed in Spain?
I don't
I'm
remember.
not sure. And now, guys, now everybody in the world of Tolkien fandom is abuzz with the news from this Scottish newspaper trying to tell us that there's a production facility which is claiming to take the reins of as the production house for Amazon Studios' upcoming big Tolkien Lord of the Rings series. Is it true? Is it a fake story? Is it clickbait? There's a caveat emptor. We're going to go over the details.
Personally, I'd really love for it to be true.
They're already filming a very popular show there.
One of my favorite shows, Outlander.
That's right.
And
That's right.
And the thing about Scotland is that it's vast in its scenery. It's just like filming in New Zealand. There's different parts of the country have different types of terrain. And in Outlander, they've been able to pull off the Americas with plantation homes in a swamp-like setting. That was an actual plantation home they found in Scotland, which I was amazed by.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I was like, I mean, you can find everything in Scotland, and there's plenty of ruins and castles and forests and everything. It could be magical, not to mention that Tolkien has a lot of history there as well, and I think it would be fun to shoot in Scotland.
He does. He does. A lot of people were responding to my tweet when I said, the land of the brave has now replaced the land of the long white cloud. What does that mean? Well, what I meant was... The U.S. is the land of the brave. No, the land of the brave is Scotland's motto. That is why when Disney released that animated feature film set in Scotland with all Scottish characters and folklore from Scotland, you know, the will-o-wisps, you know, changing into the bear, all that stuff. The name of the movie is Brave, as a direct reference to Scotland, the land of the brave.
Are you talking about Pixar?
America is called the land of the free and the home of the brave, and that's a different musical expression. The land of the brave is
Hamilton?
definitely Scotland. Yeah, right. Okay. Now, a lot of people said, "No way." In fact, a lot of people were like, "Fuck no, it does not replace New Zealand." A lot of fans were like, "No."
Is that how you feel, Cliff?
No, I don't personally feel that way. I'm on the fence thinking this is all very intellectually intriguing, but there's a loyalty issue that has already come up. Not everybody is uniformly happy. It's not confirmed, guys. This whole story that came from the Daily Record,
I'm happy.
okay?
I'm happy.
But not everyone is happy.
Scotland is beautiful. Have you seen Outlander?
Yeah, I'm
happy.
I'm not arguing about this. I'm telling you about other fans in our world of fandom are legitimately being polarized by this news.
There's only one reason this makes sense, and that's the contract reason.
Okay, this might be true, but when I said Scotland is now replacing New Zealand as our new Middle Earth, do you know how strongly emotionally attached all of our fans and all of our friends are
To New Zealand?
to New Zealand? New Zealand has worked very hard
But
to
here's
brand
the other
itself
thing. You said
as
something
Middle
very
Earth.
important when you started to introduce this, that there's a studio claiming to be the home of the production house. Just because production is housed there does not mean that they will shoot there.
That's true. That's true. Now look at this. It says here, according to the Daily Record, and this was a story that was published, well, on the 14th of April. Okay? This is Scottish Newsline, and it says, the $1 billion Lord of the Rings series is set to be filmed at the new facility, Scotland's new film studio, and there's a government body called Creative Scotland, okay? And they govern...
that's like Film LA,
Film and TV, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like
right.
Film LA.
Yeah, it's like film. Creative Scotland planned to appoint an operator at a huge studio facility in Leith, Edinburgh, and have it up and running this year.
So
And
it's not even complete. It's not
No.
even ready to shoot in.
Brand new studio.
brand new studio, and it says, okay,
We're in the final stages.
they're in the final stages to find a private operator to lease it, refurbish it, and run it. So it's not ready yet.
It's not even
It
ready.
might be, so there's a caveat emptor, buyer beware, to see that people are already being, wow, way, this is beautiful, Scotland is beautiful. About 40% of people saying, wow, Scotland is gorgeous. Another 60% of fans are saying, you can't replace New Zealand.
You
So
can.
You absolutely
hold
can.
on. This is what we're talking about today, guys. You, live in the chat room, everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope, join us in this conversation. And we have a hotline that's open 530-64
Frodo.
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 For
call,
Frodo.
Call the hotline.
That's really our phone number.
Text the hotline 530-64 FRODO.
All right, here's
call
the
us.
thing, though.
Let us know what you think.
Middle Earth being shot for what we've seen so far in New Zealand is fine and dandy, and New Zealand is gorgeous, and I still want to go. But if this series is not supposed to be connected to the movies, and it's not within the same universe, and doesn't have the same heads behind it, I'm okay with them going anywhere. Not to mention, if we don't end up filming the Third Age and we're filming the Second Age, the land looked different anyway.
It's supposed to be a continuation of Peter Jackson's cinematic universe. They licensed all the footage, used and unused, seen and unseen. The original intent is to make the Lord of the Rings Amazon series in the same cinematic universe as Peter Jackson's.
So they want to make
Indeed.
their own MCU. If they're trying to keep it within the universe from Peter Jackson, and we're still filming in an age timeline that is similar, then yeah, I would want to see New Zealand. I was like, but it doesn't seem like we're going anywhere near then. Even if we're going at the beginning of the Third Age, there's still so many things that are different about that land.
Hello, David. David Alvarado.
We called
Hello,
it the
Costa Rica.
MeCU.
Welcome to the show.
The Middle Earth Cinematic Universe, the MeCU.
Let me see you.
Misu. MECU,
Or
Middle
Miku?
Earth.
Look, Scotland is unsullied. It is beautiful. It looks like Middle Earth. It feels like Middle Earth, and it probably inspired Middle Earth. What do you say about Tolkien's?
Well, it was definitely inspired for Middle Earth. Like Tolkien, a lot of his languages and the lands that he built was based around European communities in the first place. That's another reason why I was like, I think it's very fitting if we went to Scotland.
Yeah, I don't mind if they shoot footage in Scotland. It sounds fantastic. I don't mind.
Can we
However,
shoot Tom Bombadil in Scotland?
Yeah. Now hold on. Them's fighting words. The thing is, there's nothing in Scotland that will match the Southern Alps of New Zealand, the South Island. So they might be filming some locations in Scotland and then filming other exteriors and other like wide shots and other establishing shots in other countries and then bring that footage back to the facility in Scotland. Now, there's a whole lot going on. What is the government of Scotland offering the production? What kind of tax incentives are being offered by the government? What kind of issues are there with labor, with getting labor, whether they're unionized or not? How much money can these people in Leith, Edinburgh, put this together so that the facility is even possibly open? So caveat emptor, buyer beware. It might not be open and ready, but it has to be.
I'm sorry, something really important just happened in the chat, and it needs to be addressed right now.
What's that?
Somebody just said that I should be an elven warrior princess, and that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, totally. Yes, Gavin, you're right. She should be an elven warrior
I just never
princess.
thought I would get elven anything. I'm too short.
Dude, thanks, Gavin. No, well, that's what they put you on an apple box for.
True, if we're going to shoot it.
They'll make you stand,
I just meant in the real life, I didn't think I would get.
In the old days when Tom Cruise, in like Days of Thunder, when he had to kiss Nicole Kidman, and she's like a foot and a half taller than him.
Yep.
They would literally make Tom Cruise stand on
an apple box.
on an apple box, on an apple crate,
Yep.
so that he could actually be at the right level to kiss her in the scene. Days of Thunder, it's true. It's absolutely true. Now,
To Dallas, to answer your question, we haven't heard any official confirmation about where it's going to be filmed yet. Everything we've heard has come from the Daily Record.
and that is a tabloid newspaper that doesn't even have a named source. They actually said, according to an insider industry source, but they have no named sources. So, on Dallas, you guys are probably chomping at the bit to find out every little detail we can possibly find out, and we are still not confirmed whether Scotland is really the place that it's going to be or not. I have an idea. Let's talk about what Justin just mentioned.
Okay, let's do it.
It's the limitations of the contract,
Yes.
right? Chelsea, you know a lot about this too. Amazon Studios has a very small amount of time in order to get things going on a production and not lose the rights.
Yes.
It's a very short time
It's a
frame.
very short time frame. They have to start filming this year in order to keep everything going.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that goes back to right before we went live, we were already starting to talk about this, and we were like, we got to save it for the show. I was like, but that rumored article from this tabloid in Scotland says that they're going to film August through October, which is a really short amount of time to film 10 hours of content for a season.
That couldn't possibly. I don't even think they've got the stuff written.
I was like, and they don't have it written. I don't think they have it casted. That's going to start production in 5 months. I mean,
no, they don't have. They don't.
unless they're going to hire me and Cliff, like.
Yeah, right. Yes,
We
please.
could write this thing in 5 months, like.
Yes, please, and thank you. Now, seriously, let's talk about how long it took Peter Jackson to get 3 films made for The Lord of the Rings. And do you remember the problems he had with The Hobbit? It was because he didn't have enough time.
Yes.
And that is why The Hobbit became such a mess. The studio kept interfering with it. He didn't have enough time. They extended it to a 3rd movie so that he could have more time to do the Battle of the Five Armies. And it ended up being not to everyone's taste anyways.
And for those of you that don't know, because maybe you're not an actor or live in an entertainment family, for a sitcom, which is 21 minutes on TV, it takes them an entire week to get that filmed. I was like, and that's a day of rehearsals, a day of blocking, a day of shooting, and a day of shooting with the live audience. And that's also the 5th day, which is the start of the week, is the table read. I was like, when you get to 1-hour dramas, which are actually about 42 minutes with commercials, it takes them 9 days. And that's 9 days of filming 12 hours a day to get 1 episode. And that's for content that's not as cinematic like a Game of Thrones or like this series would be. So to shoot 10 hours, 10 episodes in 3 months?
Yeah.
It took Game of Thrones 580 days to film the last season.
They needed that whole 595 days we waited
Not
to
90.
film it.
590.
That's what I said, 595 days. That's what they needed that time because they spent all of it filming.
So I think the 90-day window that is being reported is just a contractual, like, all right, we're building sets, we're in production. They're not ready. I don't feel that they're ready.
I don't think they're ready too.
I think if they start filming, it solidifies their contract so where they can keep the rights. So I think maybe they're planning to film some sort of teaser.
Cliff, why is it so important that they get this going? Did they learn any lessons from Guillermo del Toro? Is this on behalf of the Tolkien estate driving this?
No. The Tolkien estate is probably not driving this at all. I'm under the impression that the terms of the contract are get the production going or you're going to lose it. Mm-hmm. And you have X amount of time. And X amount of time, allegedly, unless we don't know this, maybe they've got some extensions, Justin. Maybe the Tolkien estate is going to let them do a dry run for 3 months. According to this story, they don't even have the facilities ready yet because they don't have somebody there as a runner of the place.
Yep.
To
they don't have a head of the studio. The studio's not even finished being built.
It's not even finished.
They don't have the lease ready, the refurbishment, anything.
And they said they're going to start in late August for 3 months. Late August,
ending in October.
September, October, and ending in the middle of November for a 3-month period. And only 3 months. So Justin is trying to say maybe the Tolkien estate is behind this, but the real thing is that maybe Amazon Studios, pure hypothesis here, maybe they're terrified of not getting a little something under the camera. They need to shoot a little something. Or they're going to lose the option for these rights.
They're heating up on publicity too, because I don't know if you saw this, Cliff, but we got a new Entertainment Weekly in the mail today, and there is a 2-page spread about the Lord of the Rings on Prime series.
Oh, hello.
And the spread breaks down the map in a way for people to understand what's happening in the map if you don't want to read the Silmarillion or the appendixes. And then also talks about how the series is going to arrive in 2021. And there it is written in like a confirmed site of like, it's coming. So they know they have to get going because now they're actually allowing publicity to come out around the series.
If they start principal photography next year in 2020, they can use all of late 2020 and even half of 2021 for post-production, which is what I'm thinking. Guys, it's not just principal photography for 3 months. Think about it. Let's go down the
Principal
rabbit hole.
photography, reshoots, like green screen, anything else they need to do,
And
looping, ADR, that's all the post stuff. Like
Based on the
endless amounts
rumors
of
and the
post.
contract that we've just heard, do you think San Diego Comic-Con is going to be the watershed moment of announcements?
I hope so, because I honestly don't know what else is going to come to
Does
San Diego
Amazon
Comic-Con.
deserve Hall H?
No. Purely because I don't want to go to Hall H.
Okay. Nobody wants to go to Hall H. All right, in response to Gavin McInnes, do you guys think it will be a more mature version of Lord of the Rings universe like Game of Thrones? It's going to be strange if
I
it
would
is.
love for it to be in a serious tone like Game of Thrones.
Well, that's not what he means.
They tried to do that with The Hobbit and not.
That's not what he
wasn't
means. He's
No.
talking about the
Nudity?
violence and the
And the
sex.
gore?
Yeah.
Yes. The sex I don't see really needing to have a place. It's not really highlighted in the books. I was like, but there's a lot of war. There's a lot of deep bloodshed that happens, and I wouldn't mind that kind of, and that's what I meant by the more serious tone of like,
Oh, yeah.
Game of Thrones is very serious. It's not trying to cover up and sugarcoat what happens when somebody gets an axe to the heart or any of that stuff. There's blood and guts and everything else.
You know, that might be an adjustment we might have to make because we've been used to a rather comfortable PG-13 universe for years and years and years until suddenly, shockingly, we get an R-rated extended cut of the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yep.
Of all things in the universe, I would never have expected The Hobbit to end up with a freaking R. Never would have expected that. Never.
Did you
Never.
enjoy it?
I love when Cliff gets
what?
passionate. Do you see the movement
Okay,
that's happening?
so how do you think the announcement should be made on the when they
can't.
announce the showrunners, the writers, the cast?
Oh no, I think Amazon needs to do a full Disney reveal, or like how Disney's doing an Apple reveal, like they're all just making these. And I think it should be at Comic-Con because Disney's going to take everything to D23 this year, so they've got an open stage and an audience rabid to hear some sort of big announcement. I think it would be amazing if they were like, "Hey guys, so not only do we have casting announcements for you, but let's bring them out. Do you want to meet the cast like right here at Comic-Con?" That would be amazing. You should do it, Amazon.
Should it be at Comic-Con or should they put on their own event? Like
No. It should be at Comic-Con.
Yeah. I mean, the news is all going to come out of San Diego Comic-Con anyways. So, yeah, the news cycle for something this large probably begins in San Diego.
would Lord of the Rings Amazon announcement be the critical mass moment of Comic-Con?
That would make, that would be it. That would be the biggest news out of Comic-Con. Nothing could top that. If-
You don't think Fantastic Beast news for the next film could top that?
Nope. Nope.
Interesting.
With people grousing as much as they have been grousing about J.K. Rowling lately, with people responding to
What if Disney doesn't save anything for D23 and actually does some Disney Plus reveals or like Marvel Phase 4 announcements at Comic-Con? Could that trump it?
it's very likely that a major Phase 4 announcement from Marvel might be the only other thing that would take the wind out of Amazon's sails.
Okay.
But if Amazon says, at Comic-Con, here's our actors, this
Yeah.
is what we're going to do for season 1, here's where we're filming, and they let all this information out that they've been withholding, it will blow the roof off.
Who is the
Absolutely.
one cast? Who is the one casting that they would bring out first that would just calm everybody down and make all the rest
Well,
of the
I don't even
announcements?
think we can answer that since we don't officially know where the show is going yet.
So if
if we're gonna do young Aragorn, then casting of young Aragorn. If we're gonna go further back, like I want to know who's gonna play Sauron in Avatar.
But if they brought out Ian McKellen first and foremost at the top of the thing, do you think that would calm the rest of the presentation?
I think the entire presentation, I think calm is the wrong word. I think people are going to be crazy no matter what. I know you mean calm in terms of concerns about casting. I don't think we have any reason to be concerned about it yet. I know people are, but Amazon's spending a lot of money. They're going to find the right people for what it is they're wanting to create.
Yeah, they do not want to mess this up. They don't want to mess this up. And as we're talking about before the show began, maybe they just have to satisfy some weird little contract condition by going in and filming a little bit of something in Scotland. Maybe it's just what Justin called a safety net for them to not lose the good standing they have.
They could
with
even
the
just
contract.
film some sort of little teaser that drops right around like Thanksgiving when they usually release like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and some of their other shows for awards consideration. It can be like coming soon, and we get a little teaser trailer.
I'm down. I mean, all right. There's a scene. There's a lot to be said about how gorgeous Scotland is. The people who are making Outlander have represented Scotland in the best freaking way. It's absolutely gorge. Knock me down. It's
It makes
gorgeous.
me want to live in Scotland in a castle of ruins. Literally, like, not even anywhere proper, like an open-air castle that doesn't have plumbing. That's how amazing Outlander makes Scotland look.
It looks and feels so amazing. The great master of cinema, Stanley Kubrick, filmed Barry Lyndon there in Scotland. David Yates, director of many of the Harry Potter films and the current director of Crimes of Grindelwald and Fantastic Beasts, he filmed some of the most exquisite scenes of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in Scotland. All right, let's go to Helen Mirren, because I just want to talk about Helen Mirren because
she's awesome.
I want her in this new Lord of the Rings series in some way. Did you see The Queen?
Yes, I did.
That amazing scene where she's outside in the Highlands, and she's driving by herself, and the car breaks down. And believe it or not, Queen Elizabeth was a mechanic. She was a mechanic working on tanks and jeeps in the war. And she gets on the ground. The Queen of England gets on the ground to check under the engine, right? And then she gets up and she looks, and what is that over there? It's a moment from The Hobbit. Remember when Thorin and Bilbo see the deer in Mirkwood Forest? The white stag. There's a moment in that movie, The Queen, where you see the most gorgeousness of Scotland. And there on the hillside is a heart. Not like the king's heart. This beautiful multi-point antlered deer. And Helen Mirren is breathtaken by the beauty of it. And she stops and regards it carefully. It is such a J.R.R. Tolkien moment. It is such a moment from The Hobbit, and yet it's the Queen. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if they can do that in the Highlands of Scotland, and if they can make a non-Middle-earth movie about the Queen of England suddenly feel like Middle-earth, where she sees this mysterious stag appear on the hillside, it was very moving for me. It was very cool. I think they can do anything in Scotland. However, they're lacking certain alpine mountains that are wispy with snow and, that look like Alps. They're missing that. That's the only
Just
thing they're
like
missing.
The Hobbit, so much was filmed on green screen that they can add in whatever they want to behind this. I mean, Gotham films in New York City, but it looks like Gotham when they film it, and it's all post where they're color correcting and adding darker clouds and things that weren't there. If you look at the original production stills, it's blue skies, and every shot in Gotham is gray skies. Like, they can add the wispy mountains in for you.
Indeed.
Also, back to the Entertainment Weekly spread about the series, I want to say for anybody that has not picked up the Entertainment Weekly, it's actually a 6-page Tolkien spread. 4 pages about Tolkien, the movie, the biopic that's coming out May 10th, including a comparison guide of moments in Tolkien's life and how they inspired moments in Lord of the Rings. And then the 2 pages on the Lord of the Rings Amazon Prime series.
Indeed. Hello, Jeff. How you doing there in the Facebook chat? Let's read your comment. Hello, Mr. Jeff Hawbolt. Where are you guys getting this information from? We're getting it from a not entirely reputable newspaper. It's not entirely reputable, and we said that several minutes ago at the top of our show.
That it was from a tabloid.
It's from a newspaper in Scotland called
the Daily Record.
The Daily Record. Okay, that's where we're getting this information from. Also, Amazon's official Lord of the Rings pages didn't announce anything. Yep, that's true. We also said that a little while ago. Officially, Amazon has not said anything. Yes, we're in agreement. Okay, now
These are fan speculations. We're just discussing the possibilities.
don't take this the wrong way, but after you were so convinced this would be about young Aragorn, parenthesis, it's not, how can we trust you without resources or references? Well, Jeff, it might be about young Aragorn. You don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. Just because
I want to believe.
We want to believe. Just because we put 5 maps online, Amazon says, welcome to the second age. Amazon says, here's our 5 maps. There's Numenor. That does not necessarily mean that the start of their first season is going to be set in the second age. It is a very strong possibility, but we are also hearing sources from a lot of other people who are actually post-production people that they've all been asked by Amazon to get structured and ready with their resources to do young Aragorn. That's what we've been hearing for a long time. However, we don't know. I have asserted on this very program, I have asserted that maybe those interactive maps are an online wiki, just something to prepare all the fans and all the non-fans. You know, there's a lot of non-fans out there, and maybe they need a little prep about the lore and the places and the names of Middle-earth before the series actually gets going. Then again, I might be wrong. I've said this before. We don't know for sure. It might start with Anatar and Sauron and Celebrimbor, you know.
And the making and forging of the rings.
Yeah, Anatar and Sauron being the exact same
Cliff,
person.
let's
the same
rewind
person,
back
of course.
to the
But we don't know. We'll find out.
Rewind back
find
to
out.
the year 2000. The One Ring's first scoop was a picture of a wizard in a gray beard sitting on top of Spike on a water wheel.
Oh
Nothing
my God, that's
that
right.
has any relation to anything in the books. And the speculation was, oh my God, they killed Gandalf on a spike.
Yeah, the speculation when we saw that spiky wheel picture, we never saw the result of that spiky wheel picture. It was not in the theatrical version of Return of the King.
We didn't see it until the extended edition in
A year
2004.
That's right, 2004.
5 years we sat on the rumors
Yep.
of that, and people thought it was Gandalf, and
Yeah.
like it's a blue wizard.
I'm just going to emphasize that the OneRing.net is a fan community. And what we do when we don't have hard news and things to talk about is we speculate about things to come, things that will be, things that have been, things that we hope to see one day.
And I
Indeed.
will say this:
Indeed.
if we got it so spectacularly wrong on young Aragorn, why were we Lord of the Rings on Prime's first follower on Twitter?
Good point. Good point. Yeah, if
I mean, I don't think them following anybody means anything. They're
never
following
know.
some really random people, though.
They created the account, and then they followed us.
That's
Before
true, Jess.
Bezos,
I can create a new account right now and follow you.
with a blue check mark and everything. Like, I'm saying that if we really got it wrong, they wouldn't be paying attention.
You know what? If
I don't think anybody has anything right or wrong right now. I'm just emphasizing that these are all theories. Some theories may end up becoming reality, but for right now, they're all theories.
But
Yeah.
the chat room does have a point, and we've been getting a lot of feedback on Twitter. Like, how can we trust you when you blew up the internet with young Aragorn, and now there's Amazon saying second age?
Amazon said of the maps, welcome to the second age.
And then the most recent tweet said, "Shall we read from Appendix A or Appendix B?" That's the most recent tweet.
Yep. How about that? You know,
They would be third age, Justin, yes?
actually, the material in Appendix A covers second and third age.
Yes, it does. So again, we can be in any timeline. And as we've also speculated in our theories about the maps, you have a blank map and you have 4 other maps, and each map is a little bit different. And it could be telling the story of where every season's going to go. And maybe we're going to focus on different time periods throughout the season. And maybe the maps are going to unlock certain things during the seasons. We have no idea. We're just having fun nerding out.
Indeed. But I'm more intrigued by. It's not the price of speculation. I know the price of speculation. I've lived for 20 years as a writer and a contributor for the OneRing.net, as have many other volunteers working for this fan community. And we have speculated many things that have been way, way, way off. Sometimes we get people who break their non-disclosure agreement, and they come and send us emails and spy reports, and they tell us stuff that we probably shouldn't even tell you, but we do that anyways. This is what happens, okay? And
sometimes they come to us saying that they want us to leak the news first. Sometimes we get exclusives.
Cliff, we talked about the wizard on the wheel of death. Let's talk about breaking the news about The Hobbit being a trilogy. People didn't want to believe then.
No, we
had it on video and people didn't want to believe.
I was actually interviewing Peter at that moment behind the scenes at Comic-Con, and Peter let slip, 3 films. No one wanted to believe it. Well, it's kind of crazy. The thing is, as far as fan speculation goes, we can afford the price that we pay for speculating incorrectly or correctly. What is most exciting is that we are learning little bits at a time without Amazon giving us any information. We're getting it from other sources. So everything is circumspect, and we tell everybody up front, hey, I have a feeling that the Daily Record, this newspaper in Scotland, is trying to create a wave of energy among laborers, government people in Scotland.
They were trying to get a new demographic on their website.
And that too.
Hey, Cliff,
I have a feeling it's more clickbait than it is real
when
news.
they announced,
my opinion.
The title is about the series, and then when you read the text, it's about an unfinished studio, and it doesn't really talk about the series at all.
Cliff, when they announced Peter Jackson directing Lord of the Rings, how much confidence did it inspire?
Oh God! When Peter Jackson was first announced, there was an outcry of upset from the worldwide Tolkien audience. Why are you giving a zombie splatter director the reins of this chariot?
Basically, people just like to get upset.
It was.
Also, did fans comment on that they were shooting in New Zealand? Tolkien's very British epic back in the day?
You know what? There was one scene that was filmed in England. It was Harcourt Park, where Christopher Lee and Ian McKellen are walking together through the orchards of.
Yes, I can see it in my mind's eye right now.
They were in the gardens and the orchards of Isengard, within the circle, and it was not in New Zealand. It was one of those things that was actually filmed in the UK. And so it can happen. We can actually have a Lord of the Rings series that is somewhat in New Zealand or somewhat in Poland or Spain or Iceland or anywhere. Just film little
quality and caliber of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between Avengers shooting in Georgia for 3 years and Lord of the Rings is that the scenery and the location in Lord of the Rings is
Apparently
another character. It's a character in and of itself.
Because of the distinct quality of the light in the Southern Hemisphere, the light and the photography that Oscar winner Andrew Lesnie was able to get down there in New Zealand.
Let us know when the stream comes back up, everybody. We've been offline for a little bit. If you can still hear us, that is.
Yes. So hey, I'm all down for multiple globe-trotting locations. I love seeing Iceland show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has some of the geography in the world. It has some of the most stark, weird geography. I mean, when Ridley Scott was filming the opening scenes of Prometheus there in Iceland looked like a proto-Earth from millions and millions and millions of years before.
Yeah,
it really
like
did
right
look like
before the Ice Age.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm all about this, but I have a feeling. Can I tell you what my feeling is?
1 second, Justin. It looks like only YouTube went down. If that helps you.
Okay.
We're fine on everything else.
Okay.
Go ahead. What is the feeling?
I have a feeling that they're going to surprise us. Amazon Studios are probably very happy to let us dangle. We're just dangling with all of these. Oh, what are we going to do? We're guesswork, blind blind guesswork and speculation that's just going nowhere. And they're quite comfortable because that is more energy. We're spending more energy spinning our wheels, guessing, and the studio likes that because they're gauging our interest. Don't you
Free
think?
publicity.
That's what we're doing. Evidently, that's what we're doing. I guess we are. But
I was reading this article about Avengers Endgame today, and Mark Ruffalo was talking about how much trouble he got in for accidentally streaming the first 10 minutes of Thor Ragnarok before it came out, which he was laughing so hard during you couldn't actually hear the dialogue or what was going on. But the studios, as much as they slapped him on the wrist for it, the next day on set when he showed up, they said that was more publicity than we ever could have paid for. So,
really?
yeah, because the entire internet blew up from him streaming this and like, what just happened? Oh my God!
Yeah,
and like,
he did. He accidentally streamed.
yeah, and it's the same thing with all of us sitting here talking about it. Like we're creating hype for this show, but it's not creating false hype. We're all really excited for this show.
Hey,
and
guys.
we've got to do something to get through from now until 2021.
Speaking of all that, we know that Amazon has a license to make multiple series over multiple seasons. It's not just one series, and they said that from the get-go. So I just watched the
Tell
Star
everybody
Wars.
at home one more time, because I don't think everybody really understands that. Do you guys understand that?
The original contract announcement between Amazon and the Tolkien estate says that they can make spin-off series,
Yes.
and they have a minimum commitment of 5 seasons.
And
Minimum.
A spin-off series could be anything, including a post-show.
I still want the mini adventures of Merry and Pippin.
Right.
Yes.
So
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I just watched the Disney
Mini
Plus
mysteries.
announcement,
Yes.
and I just watched the Star Wars announcement at Celebration this weekend,
Yes.
and Disney Plus last week.
Oh.
Would it be Cliff? You're the ultimate fan. Would you want to see multiple Lord of the Rings series in development right now?
Yes.
Yes, precious. Yes, precious.
Yes. Give us the precious.
Get a
Yes.
comedy show, a Cheers show set in the Green Dragon.
Oh, yes.
The Second Age show. Should they just shoot all of them? Go right now.
If they have no hobbits, because they're doing, if it is not going to be about young Aragorn, and it is about the forging of the rings and leading up to the war of Sauron and the elves, which would be a great, spectacular way to do season 1. Start with Anatar, and Celebrimbor gets fooled, the rings get made, and you end season 1 with a massive war. Continue the
so
war into
good.
season 2. I'm all down for that. But there's no hobbits, so why wouldn't they do a secondary series that would be
Lighthearted
hobbits?
about hobbits.
Yeah, why not a lighthearted series? Don't you think that's a
I
cool
would
idea?
love that.
A companion piece.
Absolutely. I'm all for having multiple series and more content for our ultimate fandom coming out. I mean, there's also just so many little stories that have not been tapped that could inspire such rich content. I want more.
Indeed.
Does that make me greedy?
Nope.
Okay.
No, it makes us all very excited fans. I think that we had some of our best ideas with a Merry and Pippin doing like the Hardy Boys,
Yes.
the
yes.
Hardy Boys mysteries in the Shire. That would be the cool.
Oh, to confirm, everyone is starting to talk about spin-off series in the chat room. Somebody said, I heard a spin-off series for Loki is coming. Yes, the Loki series is confirmed. The Falcon and Winter Soldier series is confirmed. And WandaVision, so Scarlet Witch and and Vision's relationship as a series as well.
And this is at the same time that they're
cool.
making feature films of the Marvel Universe.
Yes, we don't even know what the Phase 4 announcements will be. They're also doing an animated series called What If.
Yep.
The Disney Plus announcements this
Flashpoint
week were
animated.
insane.
So and Star Wars is getting the Mandalorian, and Star
And
Wars
the Cassian Andor series.
right at
And
this.
the Clone Wars as well.
So they're getting animated. Cliff, would you like to see an animated Lord of the Rings again?
I would give my left leg to have another animated attempt at anything in Middle Earth. Middle Earth deserves to be revisited through the magic and the abstraction of the animated medium. It deserves it again.
Should the Hobbit
really
show be animated? That way they don't have to do any
No,
short
I
people's
want real
thing?
life hobbits. I don't want animated. I mean, we can have some animated hobbits and something else, but I do want a live action Hobbit series.
To answer you in the chat, Emily, don't worry about Amazon Prime subscription. You won't have to subscribe to it until the year 2021.
21. So
you
2
don't-
years.
Yeah,
You got 2 years to start saving.
So Emily, save up your pennies and your pounds and your sixpence. Save them up because you've got 2 years to get your Amazon Prime. You don't need to pay for it. Now, spin-off from Rakwan Duel, a spin-off show called Concerning Dwarves.
Yes.
Yes! How about an entirely dwarven spin-off show? I'm down for that. Yes, I'm totally down for that. Wait a minute. Animation? Did someone say it? As long as it's not CG, I'd rather it be hand-painted 2D cell.
I want
cell.
Ralph
Oh, like going
Bakshi
old school.
working with motion capture. I want
I'd love
Ralph
that.
Bakshi directing a motion capture movie.
Also, a slight side note, as we're talking about spin-offs and series and things, Sean Astin's new series, what is it? No Good Nick.
No Good Nick.
Dropped yesterday on Netflix. So if you want more Sean Astin in your life,
Oh, it's out.
Netflix.
It's out. Sean
out.
Astin
No
It came
good
out
Nick.
yesterday.
with
Good Nick.
what's her who's the lead in that?
Melissa Joan Hart.
Melissa Joan Hart
Melissa
Yeah.
Joan
On
Melissa
Netflix.
Joan Hart and Sean Astin. Yep.
on Netflix.
Came out yesterday. First season dropped. Go binge it tonight.
Get
but
some
wait until we finish the live stream.
He is so proud
Yes.
of his work on this show.
Yeah, I
Sean-
can't wait to see it.
Yep.
I cannot wait to see it.
Second Breakfast with Mary and Pippin. I would watch that. Sounds like a morning chat show,
That's a better idea.
right?
Instead of doing like detective Hardy Boy mysteries, Mary and Pippin hosting a morning show.
A morning show with an A and B guest, and they can have their breakfast over it and their
second-
second breakfast.
You know, if they
I love that.
Sean Astin has done a lot of cartoons lately. He was in Ninja Turtles
Yes,
and a
he
bunch of
was.
other things.
Yes.
Maybe he would be good as the narrator in an animated series.
Yes. Yeah, Sean Astin narrate anything. He's awesome. That'd be great.
So, Cliff, you seriously do not have any reservations about spreading Lord of the Rings too thin with all these projects?
Nope. No. What kind of
There's
reservations?
still so many rich stories to be told.
Yeah, what
There's-
kind of
there's
But
reservations?
characters
what
we
rich
never
stories?
even
There's
met.
no rich stories. This is all EU stuff. This is all new stories out of whole cloth, not written by the professor.
There are a lot of fans who are going to say everything that Amazon is doing under this license.
I'm saying
is
it right now.
fan fiction.
It is.
That will be the single most popular charge held against Amazon Studios. This isn't really Tolkien. It's just fanfic. That's what we're going to hear for 5 years. So what?
Yeah. So
I
what?
got
I don't
nothing to
care.
say to
I'm
that.
okay with that.
So do they ease into
but
it?
also, but when I'm saying there's still so many rich stories, like we never even saw or in any form Tom Bombadil. That is Tolkien.
Yep.
There are stories that haven't been told.
Glorfindel. Anyone? Right? The most powerful elf lord who was so powerful when he died, his legacy was not over. He returned from the halls of Mandos and became Glorfindel again. Like, that's something only Gandalf did. Died and came back to live again. What? That doesn't happen in Tolkien's universe. Where is Glorfindel? We might actually get him. Here's the thing. The thing is, it's not fan fiction because they have the estate, the Tolkien estate, giving them a green light or a red light on everything that they're adapting.
On every script.
Every script they're adapting is going to pass the litmus test of
Yes.
the Tolkien estate saying, this is cool. It has the veracity, it has the verisimilitude of being really Tolkien, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't pass, it gets
It's
rewritten.
out of there.
It gets rewritten.
Bye-bye.
So I don't mind if they're doing spin-off shows, and I don't mind that they're taking the brevity
It's
of
like the
Tolkien's
people-
notes and expanding it.
That are really upset with Game of Thrones because now the seasons have surpassed the books.
Well, yeah.
It's the same theory right there.
Yeah. They're saying it's not authentic to George R.R. Martin.
Yep.
But only a small population of that fandom is thinking you producers have overreached your mandate. Do you think, Justin, Chelsea, I'll ask you as well.
'Kay.
We'll ask the guys and the girls at home watching us on this show. Do you think it is overreaching the mandate of Tolkien's storytelling if they invent characters and situations out of whole cloth? As long
Haven't
as
they already
align.
done it?
Well, yeah.
Toriel.
Tariel?
We've already done that. But if what Amazon Studios is doing upcoming, if it aligns with what the estate says is their father's
Like this question
vision,
is going to be heated for whoever's answering
Yes.
it.
Well, bringing it back to the original news today about shooting in Scotland.
I think it'll be
if
fine.
I'm a 20, 30, or 40-year-old, or even a 50-year-old who works in production or is an artist or an actor or horse rider, how do I get involved? How do I position myself to be ready to be involved in the Lord of the Rings TV series? Cliff, do you have any ideas? Chelsea, how do you get
business,
background?
It's all about who you know.
But how do you get background roles? You know, if there's a casting
If
call
I wanted
for
to be background for the series and they were going to film in Scotland, then I would have to move to Scotland.
where would they look? Where would they look for postings?
I mean, I've never looked for Scotland to know where it's there, but every single state has its own listings. Growing up in Texas, the official government for Texas actually had a film and TV site where you could see everything filming, and there was always an email address if you wanted to be an extra, and you could write them and send a photo, and they'd contact you if they needed you.
And you said that Scotland has a film site?
Yeah, the Creative Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they would have an idea if they actually go to Scotland.
Right. Nigel, champion, can we confirm the new show to pass the Bechdel test? No, we can't confirm that at all because we don't even know what characters will exist or what storylines they're going to write.
Should that even be in the conversation?
It is now. It already is in the conversation now. People are going to be talking, are we going to finally have a scene, and there's never been a scene in any of the 6 films where there's a woman talking to another woman, but not about another man. That just hasn't happened in Tolkien's universe yet.
And that was a mic drop. Cliff's done for the day.
It just hasn't happened.
We've only got 8 minutes left anyway, so I'll talk for the next.
And we've been fine without it so far. But will it happen? It could. It could. We don't know. We just don't know enough yet.
We really don't know enough yet. But to go back to what you were saying about new characters, yes, and yes. And I just, there's so many characters in Middle Earth that aren't main characters that, you hear about the hobbits at Bilbo's party briefly. That's hundreds of hobbits and families, and like they all have their own stories to tell. Like, and as long this is what comforted me with Game of Thrones was that George R.R. Martin is involved. I was like, and so I never had any problems with any of the changes from the books that they made because at the end of the day, he's involved and he's going, yes, I think that's a great decision, or giving his own spin on it and then letting them roll. And that's basically what's going to happen here. I was like, the Tolkien estate's going to look at it and go, this feels fitting, or no, that would never happen, and change it.
Let's talk about that. What is that moment where something was so crappy in an adaptation of Tolkien that it should not have happened? You want one? You want one really good example? Here's one. Let's go to the Shadow of War and look at the way the game designers treated Shelob. What? Shelob all of a sudden is a skin changer, and she can turn from a horrifying demon spider into a gorgeous, voluptuous woman in a little mini little black cocktail dress. No. If that's the kind of stuff that Amazon's writers are going to attempt to do in their adaptation, I guarantee you that's when the Tolkien estate is going to draw the line and say, no.
Agreed. And that's quality control right there.
That's quality control. However, I've been hearing...
Somebody said just don't go full Jar Jar.
Yeah, no, well, look.
I love Jar Jar personally.
Everyone loves Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War because the game engine is exceptionally good. The combat is amazing. The Nemesis engine is amazing. But in the narrative and the way they do the cutscenes, I'm like, nah, you guys didn't just turn... You didn't turn Shelob into Morgana from the Arthurian legend. And that's basically what they did. Here's Morgana, and she's going to be all, like, pretty now, and she's going to be all seductive Shelob now. No, that didn't happen. So I'm just saying, I'm ranting a little bit. But
I just want to say, because we have 5 minutes left.
We do. Oh, my gosh, we have a short show.
Short show. We have 5 minutes left, and I was not here last week to say this, but the week before that, I finally saw Tolkien. And I know we can't talk about it at length, but I finally saw it 2 weeks ago, and it's beautiful, and yeah. I'm just really excited because we should keep mentioning that it's coming out soon, less than a month, and
yes,
yay.
we should.
And you can see it.
You really hold on, really. you did think it was a beautiful. Because
I did think it was a beautiful film.
It's a beautiful film.
Yes.
It is. Okay, thank you. Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Yes, yes.
And you can see it early
really
with
beautiful.
Fathom Events. They're doing a screening on Tuesday nationwide.
That's right.
With a Q&A with Stephen Colbert and the cast.
Of course it's Stephen Colbert. Of course it is.
Only because they couldn't get me there for the date.
Yes, I believe that. Because Cliff is always the top choice over Stephen Colbert.
So
No,
it'll be a competition of the greatest stage interviews between Cliff and Stephen Colbert.
I'm waiting for that showdown. Me and Stephen Colbert on stage. Actually, we'll end up being really good friends by the time it's all over. We'll be talking about, Valar and the powers of Maiar versus Valar. And all
I tell
that
you,
stuff.
Colbert
I
did
love that
very
stuff.
well on stage at Star Wars Celebration this weekend.
Yes.
Did he?
That standing ovation.
Total surprise.
Yeah, it was a total surprise.
But this one's not a surprise. You can see it 3 days early on Tuesday night at Fathom Events. Most theaters nationwide support Fathom Events.
I agree.
Yep.
Eric? Yes, Eric. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, Ahmed Best did deserve that huge ovation at Star Wars Celebration after all the mess he's been through and
Yes.
the depression and the way people treated him. He deserves to have a lot of love in the room.
Yes.
Because I love Ahmed
And
Best.
one more quick little thing,
Love
because
him.
by the time we get to our show next week, it will already be in theaters. This doesn't really have much to do with Tolkien, so I apologize, but I am a nature preserver, and people don't know this. Disney Nature Penguins comes out on April 17th. It is a Disney Nature film about penguins. When you go to see one of their films, which they always have one around Earth Day every year, a portion of your ticket sales goes to protect the environment or an animal species. This time it's going to save penguins, and penguins are my spirit animal, so I want to encourage everybody to see the film in the theater and actually help give back. And it's also, I saw it last week, it's hysterical.
Oh, really?
It is the most hilarious documentary I've ever seen about penguins in my
Really?
life. Yeah.
Is
And the music cues are phenomenal. Like, he finds his mates, and I Can't Fight This Feeling from REO Speedwagon starts. Like,
Sounds
it's
great.
amazing. Go see it.
That sounds really good. Is your Patronus a penguin?
Actually, my Patronus, I believe, is a dolphin when I did the test. But my spirit
Ooh.
animal is definitely a penguin.
Oh, that's fab. That's fabulous. Okay, listen. All right. The Tolkien biography story is an adaptation of Tolkien's early life, not his later life, his early life, and the friends that he made when he was just 19 going to St. Edward's. And it's amazing. It's a beautiful story. It is being released worldwide by
May 10th.
Fox Searchlight. So that's the May 10th release
Yes.
date. There's going to be some more events aside from the one that Justin just mentioned.
Yep,
Which
Legion
is,
M is also going to be hosting meetups. You can go to their website and
Yeah,
sign up for more
yeah.
information about where those will happen. Currently, just go and sign up. Legion M, look for the Tolkien meetups.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, yeah, hold on. You guys.
Eric, it's a deep cut that I know REO Speedwagon. I know I look very young. I'm actually 36, so it's not that big of a surprise that I know REO Speedwagon. I know I look like I'm 5. It's fine.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. You guys are so funny.
Anyway, we should wrap this up. So
Do we have to?
I have to go to Wizarding World for a Dark Arts Media event, so I actually do have to go.
Ooh, do you get a +1?
I already have my guest that's coming with me. We're both dressing up. That's why I have the hair today. I'm Bellatrix.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Also, they're doing this new dark arts thing at Universal
Yep,
Studios.
that's what I'm
theme
going
park.
for. Yeah, so they're doing a new
Exciting.
projection on the castle. I'm excited for
You
it.
live the most exciting life.
I just
Chelsea.
live a nerd life.
The
That's what it is.
Excitement is in the air. Okay.
But yes, everybody, thank you so much for watching and all the amazing comments and compliments and questions. You
Yes,
guys are
thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
If you want to keep in touch with me during the week before we're back here, Uncool Rockstar on any social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, Uncool Rockstar, just like it sounds. Cliff, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on all social media, Quick Beam 2000, and that would be the young entish friend. Wait, what happened to my microphone?
You're still there.
The young entish friend of Treebeard. Whoa, it's like I'm losing these. So yeah, QUICKBEAM 2000. And by the way, what did you think of the season 8 opener of Game of Thrones?
Phenomenal. And I can't.
Wasn't it great?
This is the longest week to wait for another episode. It feels
Yes.
longer than the last 595 days we waited for that episode.
Indeed, indeed. All right. By the way, as we close this week's episode, we want to say the story that has come out from the Daily Record in Scotland about that Scottish film studio being the destination for the Lord of the Rings series for Amazon Prime. It might be clickbait. We're going to close the show on that. It is unsubstantiated. We don't know for sure. We have yet to hear. It seems really sketchy that they don't even have the damn thing ready yet for them to start